Hey, this is Das from Thriller Recapped, and today we are going through a 2016 thriller action movie called London Has Fallen. In the beginning, the movie starts with the president and his bodyguard Agent Mike having a routine park run. After the run, Agent Mike goes back to his home to find his loving wife with whom they are expecting a child with. Due to this fact, Mike has been having endless thoughts on his resignation on being the president's bodyguard in order to take care of his child and also protect his family. Later on, we can see the president getting information about the sudden demise of the United Kingdom's Vice President Mr. James. This occurred after a surgical complication that happened in the county hospital. President Benjamin is later headed to London for the burial of the UK's Vice President. With him is his bodyguard Mike and his legal advisor. On arrival to UK, Mike seems suspicious about this whole event. No sooner had the USA President's convoy arrived at the area of ceremony than a car exploded in the middle of the street. We later see how the red uniformed guards started to shoot shots which were aimed to hit the special guest in attendance. Dirty cops started turning against each other. Soon it becomes an ambush where Mike has to guard the president at all cost. It is seen that a Korean prime minister who had come for the event was stuck in traffic on the London Bridge. Two ambulances are using the pathway with their sirens on, indicating that they are attending an emergency. Surprisingly, the two ambulances had been loaded with explosive bombs and they were to be activated by suicide bombers who exploded themselves upon reaching specific strategic positions along the bridge. The bridge started collapsing and the Korean prime minister had no way to escape. It's also seen that the France president was on a boat patiently waiting for his bodyguards to arrange for a helicopter to fly him to the event area. He had no idea of what was happening on the other side. As he was enjoying a beautiful scene, a canoe was spotted carrying loads of containers. A loud explosion was witnessed which blasted and took away the France president's life. Wow, this was becoming a disaster that was targeted at the high influential leaders who had visited London for the ceremony. An armored Land Rover pulls up to where USA President was. Agent Mike with the president's advisor were carried along where they were being followed by men on motorcycles. They were vigorously exchanging fires with the president at the back of the black Land Rover. Fortunately, they were able to get back to the USA Embassy where they boarded their helicopter and headed for safety. In the event, it's estimated that 5 world leaders were confirmed dead in destruction of the most known landmarks in Britain. On a later scene, a man in a suit is seen talking to Kamara's group through a virtual computer. This man is believed to go by the alien's name Kolarov. Kolarov is believed to be the one channeling all the funds that have contributed to these destructions with an aim of vengeance to the USA government. His vengeance dates back when his home was raided by USA troops, whereby his house was blown and unfortunately, he lost his daughter. On a later scene, Kolarov is talking to a certified hacker who is subjected to intercept all communications done by the USA CIA to the Britain CIA. He was instructed to shut down the subway electrical systems and activate a nuclear bomb in the head of investigation building. We can later see Agent Mike's wife trying to contact him, of which he was unreachable through his cell phone. She was worried with the news she had seen on the television. It is seen that the 2 helicopters that had accompanied the president's helicopter had been shot down by some attackers who had FPG bazooka guns. The president's helicopter was also brought down. The president's legal advisor did not make it during the crash landing, but fortunately both the president and Agent Mike were the only survivors. Now it was upon Agent Mike to protect the president at all cost. They were on the run and it was seen that both Agent Mike and the president running away from the scene of crash on their feet since they believed they were being tracked down. In the Internal Security Board, we can see that Mr. Kolarov, who is responsible of the Terror Act, making a call to the Intel Board so as to discuss his demands. He demanded that he wanted the USA president so as to end the war in London. On the escape, Agent Mike tells the president that they have to run through the subway tunnels or otherwise the terrorists would be all over them. They were followed in the subway by the terrorists who were led by the Kamara's brother. Agent Mike was able to shoot them down one by one. Once he was about to kill Kamara's brother, Agent Mike communicates with Kamara through a walkie-talkie to let him know that he will come for him too. Kamara is seen to be angry and vengeance is all is heard from his voice. London becomes a complete war zone and no one is to be trusted to keep the president safe rather than Agent Mike. He takes the president to an MI6 agent's safe house located in London where they would regroup so as to figure out their next step towards escaping this airspace. Their safe house becomes compromised and the terrorists are seen outside trying to break their way in. Agent Mike secures the president and heads to the combat alone. They manage to escape and on their way to the embassy their armored bulletproof car was sprayed by some terrorist where the president was unfortunately captured and taken hostage. He was taken to Kamara's camp to be tortured. Agent Mike regroups himself to burst and storm in the heavily guarded Kamara's camp. With him are some of the intel SWAT team sent by the embassy to rescue the president, but they found that the president had already been taken captive by Kamara's men. They engage in the combat together with Agent Mike towards their entrance to Kamara's camp. Agent Mike entered the camp to plant some explosives which were to be ignited once the president was extracted. Kamara's intention was to kill the president live on camera, but before the execution, Agent Mike was at the right place and during the right time to rescue the president. Agent Mike ordered the ignition of the infused explosive to ignite the camp so as to take down Kamara together with his men. They blew up the camp and luckily both the president and Agent Mike were alive upon the retraction. It's later seen the guy who acted as a mole in the internal security agency being killed while he was trying to escape after hearing that the president was safe. Agent Mike was able to capture the unwired cell phone that Kamara's team was communicating with their leader Kolarov. Upon the rescue of the president, he sent one soldier to deliver that cell phone to the brigadier at the USA Embassy. The brigadier who was in charge was none other than Morgan Freeman. Upon receiving the cell phone, he made a call to Kolarov. Kolarov answered the phone thinking it was Kamara calling him so as to update him about the mission accomplishment, but he was shocked to hear the voice of Morgan Freeman. Mr. Kolarov was so shocked and threatened Morgan Freeman that the war had just started and that USA should be prepared. Unfortunately, his IP was tracked and a missile was fired from a base where it struck Mr. Kolarov's fortress, killing him and his army. At the latter, the movie ends with Agent Mike going back to his home only to find his newborn son. What we take home with this movie is the persistency that Agent Mike had on saving his president despite losing his whole crew team. Hey, you see this video on the screen? This is the part 3 of this film titled Angel Has Fallen. YouTube thinks it's suitable for you and in most cases, they are never wrong. Click it now before it disappears. Anyway, subscribe now and if we get to 50k likes, I will make a part 4 of this film. Until then, stay thrilled.